Hey there, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's been a little bit since we've done one of these, and I am so excited to bring it back with our wonderful, wonderful Star Andrews today. And it is super release day for her
Yeah.
newest book. And we are very excited to talk about this. Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it. So, we're going to be talking about all the things. We're going to be chatting. We hope that, if you have any questions, you'll throw them down into the bottom section and we're just going to roll. So, my only question ever is, what is it that you do and how do you do it?
Well, it's Christmas in July, as you can see.
I love that so
Go
much.
down a bit. There we go.
Look at the Hello Kitty shirt.
Yeah, I did wear this last Christmas morning. I have a couple of them.
That's all right,
different
too.
stuff. But anyway, so right now we were talking a little bit beforehand, and you write what I think we were saying, what flows with you right at the moment, what feels good, what feels right. Yeah. So right now I love paranormal. I'm sticking with it. And the reason the Kelly Society Christmas came out, the Kelly Society is a paranormal cleansing team.
I love it.
Fictional, of course, located in Half Moon Bay, California. That's just between San Francisco and Santa Cruz.
It's beautiful
little seaside town. It really is a real town.
Yes.
And Vivian Kelly is a super psychic. She also has telekinetic powers, can do things with her mind. But she's adult. It's not young adult. She's it's an adult paranormal fiction. And so the Bay of Darkness was the first one. She got her team together and met the love of her life and everything, her soulmate. So right after she kills this demon, the very next morning, there's only 3 days to Christmas because the big day, the big battle day was the winter solstice with December 21st.
Good call on that.
Was that?
I said that was a good call. That's a great day to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes. A very, mystical day, right? So now she only has 3 days to Christmas because she was battling a demon that was going to plunge the world into darkness. She didn't have time to go shopping. So now she's
So the other thing we were talking about was, staying true to your voice and the snark. And let me tell you that I absolutely love that. She didn't have time to go shopping. I have a demon to kill. You got 3 days. Amazon doesn't deliver early enough. Here is a homemade pie.
There you go. Exactly. So, she wakes up, she's like, yeah, I'm going to go shopping, get the Christmas tree, all this stuff. And her teenage friend from her local coffee shop, Java Hut, the barista there, like he's a senior in high school and he's a surfer dude and all this. He unwittingly calls the wrath of Krampus the Christmas demon, and you can see his shadow there.
That is a super awesome cover, by the way.
Yeah,
it
just won creme de la cover at In Detail magazine. Our lovely Debbie Taylor at Wild Rose Press did it. She did the Bay of Darkness too. So then it becomes, part shenanigans, part spell casting. On her part, she does a Celtic triad chant, which is her form of sort of magic. Her psychic power goes into it. And, it's also a heartwarming Christmas story because the first time she's really had Christmas for about 5 years because she lost her fiance, who was killed right in front of her before she discovered her powers and this and that and her higher calling. So, and her parents died in a plane accident when she was like in college. So she's an only child. So she's had this void with Christmas. Yeah. And finally she can celebrate again, Yeah. So she is, ready to do that. But there is heartwarming Christmas story stuff and funny things, kind of cheeky, and she has to save the teenage guy and get everything ready to go. You do. So, and the reason this came about is because the marketing woman at Wild Rose Press,
Lisa, I love her.
Lisa Dawn, I was on a chat one time, and all these people doing series, these author doing series, they do holiday ones, like a Christmas one, like a little novella, or Halloween. I'm going to do a Halloween one too later.
Yay!
But I thought, hey, I want to play too. I want to do that too. So, anyway, we were in the chat. She goes, Stara, do it now. I go, yeah, one day I want to do that. She goes, do it now. I said, oh, okay. And that was Christmas
How about
2019.
now? Why are you still on the computer? I'd like you to log off of chat and go start the book.
Yeah. So then I saw the movie Krampus by Peter Jackson, who did Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
In 2015 with Toni Collette and all these people. It was really good. It was very scary. And he had his creature people do all these fabulous creatures and CGI and everything. And I thought, what better foe at Christmas than Krampus?
Absolutely. Well, and it's so interesting. One of the things that I love about paranormal are the 100,000 different directions that you can take. Some people are all in on, this is just a monster world. It's all vampires, it's all werewolves, it's all vampires against werewolves, it's about shifters, but even within having what if you would call it a witch, somebody who has those kind of powers, and you're more in an urban fantasy setting, where it's modern day and you're working within the confines of the society that exists. There's 1,000 ways you can do that. I love watching people's imagination in their books about, like, what are the rules of this world, how do you pay for what you're doing, because one of my favorite things about paranormal, I think, is that you don't just like whip out a spell and it's like, oh, all right, that's taken care of, let's go ahead and walk over here. Like, there's generally some kind of penalty that they pay, or you have to be aware of what you're doing, because if you do the wrong thing, it can come back to you tenfold. So exactly. I think that's fascinating. So your world, this is book 2, you said, or 3?
I'm adjusting a little bit. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
This is book 2. And what's funny is, how in series you have full length, you'll have a couple little holiday novellas. Mm-hmm. So this one just happened to come book. And in my head, that kind of seems like book 2 to me. This seems like book 2A. My internet connection says it's unstable. You can see me and everything?
So far, you're good. You did have one little hesitation, but I think that was fine.
Okay. Maybe it's me that's unstable. No. Anyway.
I know it's me. I could be rubbing off.
But so anyway, but no, I mean, it's put down as book 2, so that the next full-length book will just be put down as book 3. And
right.
That's fine, because I just wanted to get this going. And I will say, in the middle of COVID, I was starting this, and amazingly enough, I mean, I was at my apartment for 9 weeks from my office job. Oh, and they let me log in 1 day a week, and then 4 days a week I could get unemployment. So because it was really bad in New York, right? Beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
So obviously my family said, well, use the time to write, Star. You're writing a book. I'm like, yeah, but I was just like, I mean, there was no one on the street. You barely saw any cars. I was, we were afraid to go to the grocery store and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was no vaccine, So I found it very hard to write. I wrote maybe a page a day at the most. It was terrible. So finally things got better. I know it sounds very, bizarre, but then things got better and I got going on this. But my cousin contacted me and she said, hey, I have an idea. I know you're doing this book, and my aunt, her name is Patricia Kellums, my uncle's wife. It's my mother and her brother.
Yes.
Okay. They're all gone now, but anyway.
I'm sorry.
So he was my uncle by blood, and then his wife is Patricia Kellums, my aunt. She's the one. She's still with us. She's 83 now. Aww. And she said, "Is there a way? I kind of want to. I would love it if you could put maybe a character in there, kind of after my mom." And she lived in New York, like in the 30s and 40s, and she went by Patsy Carroll. And she's part Irish, and they lived on the Lower East Side. And I said, "Oh, you know what? Actually, I need an assistant manager." And she kind of gets romantic with the owner, Ron. And I said, it's perfect. It was perfect timing. So there's this whole character in there named Patsy Cline, loosely based on my aunt. She's very gutsy and everything because my aunt has, is very, assertive and
yeah.
in the best way, she's fabulous. And she is in the coffee house and she gets involved and everything. So I have a little dedication at the beginning of the book to her too. So.
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah. I love doing stuff like that. Yeah. Excuse me. So in most of my series, if there is a father or a grandfather, 9 times out of 10, they're my grandfather. It's an aspect of my grandfather. We were talking off screen earlier, and I have a book coming out next Tuesday, and it's a Wit and Whiskers mystery is what the series is called. And that grandfather who I call Pops, totally my grandfather.
Oh,
when we were little, he would keep my cousin entertained. He would build these treasure chests, and then he would make a map and burn the edges and put it in a glass bottle and have my cousin find it. And then they would follow the map for the day because it was, he just needed stuff. And so being able to do that, for one thing, also keeps them alive. So your aunt is going to read this and see her mom's name and maybe some of the aspects, and it's going to feel like she's there. And that's just a super special thing to be able to do.
Yes. I already sent paperbacks to all of them and signed it and everything. And my aunt ordered 10 of them for her friend to give out to her friends.
I love it.
And you know what my editor at Wild Rose did for me? This was just at the border of only ebook, but she explained to our Rhonda Penders, our editor in chief. She said, she has kind of a family member in these, and she said, okay, we'll do paperback. So I didn't even know if it was going to go to paperback at first. So I actually printed it out in Microsoft Word. You could actually print it out like a booklet,
Yes.
And it's this thick. I sent it to my aunt, and I said, oh, now you can get rid of that because it's going to be in paperback. She goes, nothing doing. I'm keeping the other one too.
Oh yeah, there's no way I get it. That's an original.
Yeah, so she also has this weird Microsoft printout of the book.
Nice. So is it a slightly smaller book? Because I thought they didn't print under 45,000.
I'm trying to remember. It's 148 pages or something.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
So yeah,
whatever it was just at the border. So she said, okay.
Yeah. I mean, so I used to do a series with the Wild Rose Press called Adventures in Ghost Sitting. And they were all like 20,000 word novellas. And then I would cram all 3 of them into one book. Because look, here's the thing. I get that a lot of people love ebooks. I too enjoy ebooks. I just bought one today. However, if I can, I am almost always going to buy the paperback.
Yes.
I just prefer them. That's just, I like holding them in my hands. I, like you, have a day job, and my day job involves looking at the computer for the whole day. And so I want to go over to my reading chair and have paper and smell and the texture and the excitement of like seeing. The other thing with ebooks sometimes is you don't know how far you are for the end. And you're like, okay, so there's still 40 pages or 100 or and I like seeing that. I like to see where the next chapter is. So it's a different experience, but I can totally understand why your aunt would want the book. I adore that she bought 10 to hand out to her friends. Well,
yes.
Who better to sell you than your family?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Absolutely. My mom used to be like a nanny, and she would actually buy my books for the people that she was a nanny for.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, make sure you tell them that they're about death, but that I am a really nice person. Because you just never know, But so going back to the paranormal, since this is book 2, do you feel like the world is evolving as you're kind of sinking into it. Like the first book, you're kind of setting up the boundaries, but
Yeah.
I found, you know, as you move through the series, you kind of have to start making decisions where you're like, oh no, I totally cut that route off for myself in book one. Are you just kind of letting it expand as it comes to you?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because this was my first novella, and I almost had a hard time getting it submitted, shall we say, because
Okay.
I was trying to put all the characters in there.
Yes.
In the first one, she has a paranormal team, and then she has a husband and wife that are friends that run a metaphysical bookshop.
Okay.
And then she has, these, these Irish warriors.
Okay.
That she did her training in Clonakilty, Ireland, and there's 10 of those, and it's like I had them in this whole big, I mean, it wasn't confusing when she was there. She was there. When she was in California, she was in California. It wasn't like all at once, except at the very end, But I mean, if people can understand Gone with the Wind with all those characters, they can understand my, Anyway, you know what I mean. But I was trying to like put it all into here, and then it came back and said there's a lot going on. You got to distill it down. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
And then they brought in a second reader because she goes, I need someone else to look at it. Right. So the second reader said, I feel like there's 2 books here. She's got all this and all that, and I'm just all over the place. So I had one more shot at submitting this the third time, and it's only because I was already an author with Wild Rose Press. I don't think that would have worked if I was brand new. And
no, probably not.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's it. It's like the 2 main characters. Yes. The kid is in trouble. He has a friend, and then the coffee house people. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Her team are gone for Christmas. No one from Ireland. They're all out of the way because you have to distill it down because
you really do.
148 pages, but I hadn't done a novella before.
So that was going to be my next question. So this is literally the first novella that you've ever written.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting. People sometimes, depending who you are, they're like, oh, it's a shorter story, it'll be fine. And I'm like, oh, you must not have ever written one then, because a shorter story is hard. If you have 80,000 words to work with, you can have an extra sentence here or there. You can describe this bush a little bit more. You can have more people. You can explore more issues. The shorter you get, the more very much focused you need to be. Yeah. So writing those adventures in ghost sitting, same thing. I was like, okay, main character, side character, some ghosts, because it's about a girl who owns a junkyard, and everything in the junkyard has a ghost attached to it, and they're all very badly behaved. Right. So I'm like, okay, and then one thing has to happen. So they because they're only 20,000 words, which would be probably half of what you were writing. I'm like, no, it's got to be a bam, like a half an hour TV show, not a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard to do that. And then when you're working with paranormal, not everybody understands this either. You are making things up that you have to remember that you've made up, that you also need to use appropriately and explain. Like if you were to say telekinesis, now most people know to some extent what that is, but you're still going to somewhere want to put she moved an object with her telekinesis, or she was not playing around with telekinesis today, she could pick up her own damn coffee cup. You know what I mean? So you kind of you have to get creative with that. I had one set where I never published it or had it published, but it was this girl, and she was a witch, and every time she answered a question, she gained a pound. But if she didn't answer the question, then she got a migraine. So I constantly had her exercising. Like she was always walking around and stuff. But that's something you have to think about. If you're going to have her be able to channel this power, that's going to have to stay consistent through however long your series is. Do you
Yeah.
have an idea of about how many books you want to do, or are you just doing this until it's old?
I have 3 full length
Oh,
already, like little outlines
yeah,
for each one. And I started the second one.
good.
And the new villain is an ancient Egyptian goddess, a very
Oh,
evil ancient Egyptian god.
nice.
So and then she's gonna carry over into the next one. But and then so 3, and then of course a little Halloween, which will be set in the metaphysical bookshop,
Okay,
which will be a lot smaller too.
right.
And that's all I got for this. But and then there's ideas for something else, but there's like you gotta find time in the day.
Yeah, good luck with that. I right now I'm like, so we were talking about the Magically Suspicious. Those are, I call those the Verla books. And so I have 3 Verla shorts plus if you buy the physical book, there's always a bonus short story at the end. But I also have a cozy mystery book in a series that 2 years ago Kensington ended, but I want to continue. And I'm like, okay, I got to think about like, I would love to write the Verlas and finish that off and then get into the tallies. But I'm like, yeah, but tally, you might want to do that one first because that has like an expiration date, whereas the Verlas, you can hang on to those for a little bit. But my brain is like, why can't I write 7 books at once? And why does it take more than 6 days to do that?
I know.
Because I've got a ton of ideas. Do you have like an idea file that kind of holds off? I find that if I have an idea and I don't write it down, it will eat at my brain. But if I write it down and throw it in my folder, then I can put it aside and say, you will get time. It's just not right now. Do you feel that that's...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a Word document with them,
Nice.
and if I think of something, I'll even text it to myself and then just put it in a document. And then you just get to it later, I guess.
Exactly.
But I just want to throw something. What?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to throw something out because on the day that I had done my second submission, I just thought of this and I should do it for Kelly Society Christmas. That's the day that came back from my editor. The second reader said, I don't know what to tell you, Star. There's 2 stories going on, this and that. If you can get it down, and right. She didn't have to say it, but I knew that this was my last chance.
Yeah.
We couldn't go on forever. I can't submit 10 times, but on that day, I was in a horrible day job. I won't even tell you about it. It would take too long. Just a horrible day job. I was there for 4 years, and I finally, I have to get out because it's affecting my sleeping, creativity, and everything. I had an interview for a job I so thought I was going to get. It was going to be great. Found out I didn't get that job. This submission didn't go through, and we had to cancel our trip to Salem, Massachusetts for my 60th birthday, me and my sister.
You are not 60 years old.
Yeah.
Stop it. Oh my gosh, I want to look like you when I grow up. My God, I would have never put you in 60. Woo! Oh, okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No, that's okay. The women in both sides of my family, for some reason, we look a little younger.
I love it. That's fantastic.
I'm going to keep it going as much as I can.
Right.
But
so you had to cancel the Salem trip. Everything was pretty on the same day.
All of that happened on the same day, and I didn't even cry because I just was so devastated. It was like beyond even tears.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, hold on, you froze.
We are going to Salem this year, and what?
You had frozen for a little bit. So you said you are going to Salem this year?
We are going to Salem this year, and,
awesome.
And I took the Amtrak up to Niagara Falls just by myself on my birthday last year, so I did something. And then this came through the very next. Oh, and on my birthday, I got the email on the Amtrak train going to Niagara Falls through the Adirondacks that this was accepted.
Oh,
so everything turned around.
Yeah.
And it someone who has a really bad situation, it can turn around.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
I've had days like that where I'm like, all right, look, I am tired of waiting for the shoes to drop. I'm pretty sure we have completely run through the entire backstop at JC Penney's. Can you knock it
Yeah.
off? I am surviving as best I can right now. And there are
Yeah.
times where you're like, I am so overwhelmed right now that I can't even cry about it. Like I don't know. You just
Right.
kind of sit there and you're just like,
Yes.
I feel like I should feel something right now, but there's so much that I can't. I've got
Yeah.
nothing. And I definitely struggled with that going back to your COVID thing. COVID was a rough one for a lot of people. I mean, there were days where I'm like, I am doing nothing. Why am I not writing? And I'm like, I just can't. I do not have the room in here right now with worrying about my kid being at college and worrying about my husband working, out in the world because I work remotely. So I didn't have
Oh,
to
right.
go a bunch
Right.
of places, but it was just like it was an avalanche. And there were so
Yeah.
many people who were like, seriously, seriously, I wished for something that I could stay home for. And now that I have it, I can't
Yeah.
use it. And but I see a lot on Facebook that a lot of people are re-emerging into, okay, I'm ready now. Let's go write. So that's awesome that you were able
Yeah.
to get things
Yeah.
back in. I love that the Wild Rose Press took it, but you are right. A lot of times, so if you submit something and you're not one of their authors, generally speaking, they will give you a revise and resubmit. But if you don't hit it on the second time, they would probably just say, send us something completely new.
I'm assuming for Bay of Darkness, it's so funny because I sent a query letter in the first 5 pages. And like in 2 days, they said, "Can you send us the first 50 pages?" I went, "Oh, wow." Because that hadn't happened in a while. I'm like, "Oh my God, somebody wants to see the first 50 pages. Wow." And then I sent that and they said, "Send me more." And then they said, "Just send me the whole thing." And I'm like, "Oh my God." That was the first time that someone was going to read the whole book. I wasn't even, I was excited that they were asking for it, but I was more excited that someone out there was going to read the whole thing. Oh my God. You know, and then of
Absolutely.
course I actually worked. Yeah, the woman that's my editor now, Diane Rich. I, I actually worked with her for almost a year editing Bay of Darkness, not knowing if I was going to have the contract or not. And
Ah,
told my sister, I probably said this on the last video, but it's worth repeating. I said to my sister, "What if it just all goes away? What if they say, well, that was okay, you know?" And she goes, "Story, just think of it this way. You're getting free editing services. You know how much that costs?" I go, "Yeah, you're right." And then of course it turned into the contract. But
good.
so I guess she did work with me a lot, but it was, that first submission that attracted them.
Yeah, well, and I mean, so I first published with the Wild Rose Press, I want to say 2005. I'm pretty sure it's 2005. It was
Yeah.
the first book that came out with them. And my editor there is Nan Swanson and has been, and my cover artist is also Debbie Taylor. I ask for her every time because I'm like, give me Debbie. She's fantastic. The
Yes.
other ones are good too, but every single cover from the Wild Rose Press has come from Debbie Taylor. So I like to keep
Yeah.
her if I can. But Nan had sent me an email and she said, I'm really interested in your book. However, it looks like chapter 7 is in the middle of chapter 13. And I was
Oh.
like, oh my God. So I went and looked. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent her the wrong file. I was like, oh my
Oh.
God. And she's like, do you have a different one? And I was like, I do. And I'm so happy that you're not like, I don't know what the hell you did here, but I don't ever want to see anything from you again. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, I love your stuff. I just can't take something where chapter 7 is in the middle of chapter 13. I was so
Oh,
embarrassed.
that's
But,
so funny.
I mean, a lot of times though, so I write for a bigger house. I write for the Wild Rose Press. I also self-publish. I
Yeah.
really enjoy the Wild Rose Press because I think they are all about growing you as an author.
Yes.
They love more stuff from you. And, Nan has emailed me when I'm in between um doing stuff for the Wild Rose Press because I'm doing the stuff for Kensington. And she's like, any chance I'm going to be getting something soon? I'm like, yes, Ann, I'm working on it. It's coming your way. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, they really invest, I feel like, in the author themselves and try to, in that same way, say,
Yes.
okay, I know what you were going for. I don't think we hit the mark. Can you try again? Okay, still not quite there, but one more
Yeah.
time, please. And that's a beautiful thing because it allows you to then also grow within them and hopefully bring in more
Yes.
readers and write better stories, because no one is ever going to be done growing as an author.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
So
like a coach. It's like having a coach.
yes. Yeah. And
Kind of
somebody who
reminds me
loves your
like I'm
stuff.
an athlete. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like an athlete that has a coach,
I can see that.
trying to get to the Olympics, maybe. But,
yes, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean,
excited to be published too.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And they do make very nice books. That's the other thing, is that I have seen some of the other smaller publishers who don't have as nice books. I really like the way that they're set up. I like the way that they do the covers. I like, being able to do my own blurb, but then having them weigh in on it, kind of to say, okay, well, let's change a couple of things over here. I mean, they just, again, I really feel like they work with you as the author to bring your A game by bringing their own A game and then boosting up altogether. I mean, the cover's awesome. I love that they, were able to put it in print. You may want to think about writing Halloween long enough so that it can also go to print, because there are some people who are like, I cannot believe that 1 out of 5 books is not in print. What am I supposed to do about that, Star?
Right.
So, I mean, but it is nice to also have the flexibility of saying, I want to go under 45. I'm fine with this being an ebook, or what do I have to give you to be able to hit print? So, and it's a cool concept too. I mean, I am very excited to read it. I have it on my list, and it should be coming to me shortly. So, because I did get the paperback because I just can't help myself. So, but yeah, I mean, I think in the long run, it's nice to be able to have both and paperback for whatever everybody likes. But they really do put out a beautiful product that you then feel really confident with to say, would you like to buy my book?
Exactly. And I mean, I love Bay of Darkness too. I'm looking at, because I have them framed up there, but I really realized the power of a cover with this one. I mean, it's hard to see here maybe, but it just got so much reaction. And then the creme de la cover in Detail magazine, there were 4 of them each week, and then at the end of the month, those 4 that win. So I'll be in that monthly competition. I don't know if I'll get that. But I was telling a friend at work, I said, well, I mean, these other authors, they probably have a bunch of followers, and if they all vote, it's just kind of depends on, because you have to vote for it. And I didn't think I'd win, really. So it's like, I mean, the cover's great, but I thought if they have a bunch of followers, they're all going to vote, and then it's just kind of popularity. And then they told me I won. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, so
that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, and I had my editor tell Debbie Taylor.
Oh, that's
she wins all kinds of stuff. So.
I know, it's crazy. She puts together really, really cool covers. I absolutely love them. I think that they are a pleasure to watch happen, and to then be able to hold as your own. And she's really good at taking the concept that I've put down on the art sheet,
Right.
and
Right.
turning it into something that maybe I hadn't envisioned it that way. But once I see what she's doing, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you nailed it. You totally, I don't even know why I tried.
Exactly. And I was on her website because I thought maybe there was an email I could send to her, but I didn't see it. So I mean, there was a contact sheet in the
Yeah.
website, but I just told my editor to tell her.
Yeah.
And I saw the cover of one of your books on her website, the one where
Yes.
the girl's sitting on the headstone.
So
I haven't read that series. Which
right.
one's that?
So those are the Ivy Morris mysteries.
Okay,
And
right.
those I actually wrote in 2005 through 2009. And I was with a different small publisher. But then when I got the rights back, I went to Rhonda and I said, do you have any interest? These are actually pretty popular. I'm sad that they're out of print. Let me know. And so they did. They took the 5 that were already out. We redid them in, I think, every 6 months. And then I wrote a new one. And the covers are different than the first set. The first set were very hand drawn and I loved them, but I also loved what Debbie did with the second, set of covers. But the one with the big, huge, so the one with the big, huge stone, the headstone, that original cover, I actually have that tattooed on my back.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
My doctor saw it after I got it done because it's a woman leaning on a tombstone, and he's like, I'm sorry, did someone die in your family? I'm like, no. No. No, this is me being stupid author. I have a huge, it's like this big on my back. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, then forgive me my condolences. Congratulations on tattooing your back. Like, that's more appropriate. I appreciate it.
Right.
So,
you're
but
like, someone died in fiction.
yes, because it is a cozy mystery. They are far sexier though, because when I wrote those, I was not aware that cozy mysteries didn't really have sexiness. And I didn't care. And so I wrote all of my own, whatever I wanted. And later on, somebody was like, oh, I read your Ivy Morris mysteries. Those are not exactly traditional cozies. I'm like, what does that mean? And so they pointed me and I was like, oh, no swearing, no sex. They're like Hallmark level of don't touch below the shoulders. And a kiss is emotional, not physical. So like you can like the quick kiss and then her heart swelled with love for him, as opposed to he kissed her and things started tingling that hadn't tingled for the last 3 years. Those are 2 different ways of handling a kiss. Traditional handles it with the emotional, and romance is more physical and emotional, of course, but there is still that they ride tandem together. And so the newer mysteries, the Tally and the Wit and Whiskers, those are more traditional. But I'm about to break the rules and go back to the original, because I mean, if I'm self-publishing, or I might go through the Wild Rose Press. The reason I didn't do Wild Rose Press for Verla was that I wanted them out every other month, and I wanted my kid to make the covers. So I didn't I didn't feel like I could do that with them. I certainly don't want to put them in a position where I'm, messing with their normal rhythm. So I went ahead and published those myself. But the next set, it's very possible that I'll be like, hey, Rhonda. How about, and like I said, Nan is always like, when are you sending me something? I'm like, stop asking me that. Do you want to ruin your comic key again? I kid you not. I'm gonna have to send her one day, because it's forever. She'll send me back an edited manuscript, and almost every single thing is comma here, comma there, comma here, comma there. Sorry. Did you wear it off? Because I feel like that must have worn it off for that story. So So
it's fun to break the rules, right?
Exactly. Yes, I am all about that. Well, because there are people who like the books that break the rules.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and the only reason they only kiss in this, at the beginning, kind of sensually, because they're waking up in bed. So I mean,
Yeah, well, that's kind of.
But there wasn't enough time for any sex. That's why that's the only reason why there's no.
That's okay. That's okay. It's a novella. If you had to go through the three iterations, the last thing you want to do is, well, I guess this is coming out too, you know.
I had to whittle it down.
Absolutely.
No time for sex, honey. Sorry. Bay of Darkness, of course. Bay of Darkness.
Right. Sorry, guys. That's for next time. We'll do that next time. So are you working on book 3, right? I mean, are you working on the 3rd book within the series that they're going to publish as book 3? Or did you say that was done?
I am working on book 3.
Okay.
Now I've only just begun. It's like,
that's okay.
Maybe the first 100 pages.
That's not bad.
But I've been inspired recently. Now that this is out, I can kind of refocus and everything. And inspired recently by, watching things like Stranger Things, and I'm not taking anything from there, but just some. And it's funny, I saw some similarities in Bay of Darkness. I won't, anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's a part where it gets very emotional.
Yes. With
2 of the young leads,
right,
and they have to say some stuff they didn't want to say, or they're hesitant to say, emotional stuff, and it happens in that scene almost exactly like it does in Bay of Darkness.
Interesting.
To help someone when they're in trouble, and it's a paranormal moment, and it's like, well, I'm so afraid of saying something that someone's not seen it, but
that's okay.
Anyway, expressing how much you care for someone when they're in trouble. That's all I will say. And it's a pinnacle moment too in my first book that very much reflects what they did in the last episode of the Stranger Things. So I was like,
very cool. You're like, hey, I might be on the right track. This is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, they're geniuses, the Duffer Brothers,
Absolutely. So, absolutely.
But now I've got, like, sometimes you have these ideas, but they're all kind of fractured, floating. And now I feel like they've all come together in my head. And now I'm, cooking with grease, as they say.
Yes.
Right?
That is a phrase I say all the time. Now Now we're cooking with gas. I say gas as opposed to an electric stove. I love gas stoves. So no, I'm serious now. We're cooking with gas.
Right.
Grease works too. Exactly. But I mean, and sometimes I'm a big believer in trying to write as often as possible and not just waiting for the muse to come visit you. Because sometimes the muse is like out having a picnic and they've just played 72 hours of Mortal Kombat and they need to be brought back. I don't necessarily like when people are mean to themselves for not writing every day. But I think there are days where you just need to sit down. But is that so much easier when you know what it is that you want to write? And so very
cool. I have been writing, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, so, I mean, I have stuff down, but now it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to keep this and get rid of that. And now it's kind of more streamlined in my head.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You bring all those pieces together, you make a little jigsaw puzzle, you put it down and you just start working with it. However you're going to do that. Exactly. So that's so cool. I'm so excited. All right, show us your cover once again. Because I want to see it again.
I hope there's not a glare. Yeah.
There's a little glare at the bottom, but that's okay. They'll be able to see it. Okay, Kelly's Society Christmas.
It's funny how I said we're able in Wild Rose Presses, to send our ideas. And I won't tell you all my ideas, but she did take the tree part and the Krampus part. But it's so great because she doesn't even know. I love the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, and you can't see, but the walls, they have sconces, and they kind of looks like the inside of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree is black with orange balls, so it looks like a Halloween tree. Yes. And then they have the chiller print font for Christmas.
I love it.
And then the shadow of Krampus. So it's great because she had all these elements that I love. Yeah. I love Halloween trees and Haunted Mansion and all that. She didn't even know.
I have a haunted mansion.
Oh, that's a doom buggy.
It is.
The doom buggy. Oh, there it is. And the hitchhikers.
Yes, and you can see them, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That was
I love, yeah, I'm a huge Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion fan. Huge, like backpacks and other
Oh,
little
great. Yeah.
Christmas ornaments and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It is my thing.
That's
So, but
great.
yeah, I mean, and that's awesome when you have a cover that you're like, this totally speaks to me. Because if it totally speaks to you, then it's probably going to speak to the kind of people who like to read your stuff. Win-win
Yes.
situation, you know, or you're going to see
Right.
Krampus and you're like, ooh, what is this that I am intrigued by? I should go buy it. So,
Well, there's one more thing I have to show you.
yes.
So my sister got me this as a gift, and she finds all these things. It is a Krampus off. I don't know what's in here. It's red liquid, but it is a anti-Krampus elixir thing. It actually says, "Keep the Krampus away this holiday." So there you
Nice.
go.
That's adorable.
Pick up an anti-Krampus elixir today.
That's adorable. You need to take a picture of it with your book.
Oh, I
and
did.
Your little
Yeah.
Christmas tree. Okay. Because I'm digging the Christmas tree that we have going on over there. And you've got your Christmas shirt on. You have your anti-Christmas gel. You're like all in. I love it. That's awesome. So everybody needs to run out and buy Star's book. That's it. I'm just telling you right now. And it is SK Andrews, correct?
.com. Yeah.
.com. And the book itself.
.com.
So make sure you, and I'll put the link in the in the description box. So make sure you go out and get it, because I'm very excited to read it myself. I hope that you will totally love it. And it was so nice having you here and on Super Release Day, which is just a blast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's out today.
Yes.
Today.
Get one while they're hot off the presses. Absolutely. So
or paperback.
Exactly. You could get it right now with an ebook. You could be clicking now as you're listening.
Yeah.
And get that sent right on over to your ebook reader.
Exactly.
I'm all about it. Let's do that. So, well, it was fantastic having you. I am so excited. Again, you want to go look at skandrews.com, check out what she's doing.
Thank you.
Figure out what we're doing over on Facebook, and her other social media things will be, I'm sure, in the website. I will put the description box with the link to both the website and to the book. And when book 3 is out, you have to come back so we can talk about that too.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
I'll be happy to. Thank you so much.
I'll look forward to that. Absolutely. All right, guys. Whenever you're listening to this, morning, noon, night, 2 a.m., I hope that the rest of your day after that is super awesome.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas in July.
Right.